All right, real quick, I'm going to give a little pre-workout spiel here. Okay, or whatever. Anyway, so my plan for this one, because I still in my pelvis have like this weird muscle thing going on. I don't know exactly what it is. Could just be a pulled muscle. Hope it's not a hernia. I never had a hernia. I don't think so. I don't even know what that would feel like. Regardless, so what I'm going to do is just to try to like go easy on it, you know what I mean? I'm going to drop it down to 295 on the deadlift, I think is the weight amount. And just do that for more reps this time around to kind of just go a little bit lower force. Hopefully still intense, but just lower force because the rep range will be a little bit higher. And then hopefully that'll still stimulate growth, and then hopefully things will, heal up and work out good. And then I'll move up to hopefully 315 for higher reps. So yeah, just easing into it a little bit, you know what I mean? rapid fire. Okay, so workout number 24 of the year, workout 22 of the Consolidation program, I believe. June 1st, if I didn't already say that. Workout B, if I didn't already say that. So deadlifts and dips. So I did my normal 135-pound deadlift warm-up, then the 225-pound deadlift warm-up. And then for this, I decided to drop it down to 295, as I said earlier. And I didn't do a post-exhaustion set of 225 after either, because I'm just like doing like some intensity, lowering the force, like the amount of like, because I think based on what Mike Mentzer was talking about in an interview, the higher the reps, like the higher the rep range, the lower the force on the body, but you could still have intensity with that, because if you're going till failure, there's still intensity, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, that sounds about right. So it still has intensity because it went to failure, as far as I understand, or at least pretty near failure. Like, like with deadlifts, you don't want to necessarily push it too crazy because the form could start to get pretty bad. So yeah, maybe I could have like held onto the bar longer, but what risks come into play once you start doing that, when the form starts to fail more significantly, or when you can't really, even when it might be substantially difficult to even get off the floor. So like that last rep attempt there may have been an example of that. But anyway, so if I counted correctly, I got 295 pounds for 9 reps. So that's pretty close to 10. So then if I would probably be fine with upping the weight from that to 315 for the next workout, if I didn't have this kind of weird pelvis muscle thing going on right now. I went on I think it's called the hip abductor machine. I could be wrong, but essentially where your legs go like that, right? You close them like that, or you could open, but I did the closing. And I think what maybe part of my thinking is, and I did some stretching before that, I think I did stretching before that. I was maybe trying to deduce what the actual muscle twinge, whatever you want to call it, muscle issue going on is. It might partially be like a pulled groin, because when doing the hip abductor, like I was, and I did like lightweight, like 15 pounds on it, like not much weight. And it just did a lot of reps of it. Some reps probably pretty slow, and like depending on how much I focused on the motion and maybe did a little bit of a squeeze at the end or something like that, whatever I did, I could feel like the twinge in the groin. And it was similar to like back when I used to play soccer and pull my groin, although back then it was more like it'd be fine by like the next day or two or something like that, whereas this is more of a lingering thing. So not 100% sure, but it might be at least partly a pulled groin. I would be happier if it was a pulled groin than something else more substantial. Like the kind of the worst fear in this situation would be a hernia, which again I don't know. Hopefully that's not what it is. And so lowering the force of the exercise, keeping the intensity to try to, nurse it back to health a bit more while still keeping the intense training. Some people might say doing any deadlifts at all might be a bad idea, other than doing like really lightweight. But this was lighter weight, but still. So it's like while doing the reps, probably felt pretty good after the fact. Then you kind of feel the muscles, the muscle giving kind of a weird feeling. Like it's not like everything's all sunny or peachy or whatever, but it could be better, could be worse. So at least I'm only training once a week. So other than what I do for my delivery job, there's not hopefully a whole lot too crazy going on, hopefully. So hopefully it gives like time to heal. And yeah, I just hope it kind of sorts itself out. If it didn't sort itself out by like, couple months or whatever, then at that point I'd probably be seeking like maybe some sort of additional medical advice or something like that. But I think the consolidation program goes till, I want to say, the end of this month. So like 3 or 4 more workouts. And then by that point, if things aren't kind of substantially improved or all better, then maybe I would look into something. On the dips, I took a long rest period between the deadlifts and the dips. So that probably helped a lot. I got 9 dip reps. The form, like the depth on the dips, hopefully was better than in the past. But the speed, like the tempo, was probably fairly quick on some of the reps. I also did rest pause after that. I think I got 9 reps. Hopefully I counted correctly. But regardless, like it's on camera. And then did rest pause. But I took like a long rest. Like we're talking like maybe 30 seconds. Maybe less, maybe more. But like a substantially long rest pause. And I did less rest pause reps, but as a result of doing less and resting longer, or at the very least, regardless of the amount of reps, resting longer, I was more likely to get an actual full rep sometimes after taking that break time. So that was good. Get more of a full range of motion, not just the negative on the lowering part, or the negative or lowering action. So like having the actual full range of motion of the full rep, that was good. And so it might be like less quantity, hopefully more quality. I don't know for certain, but I kind of like doing the rest pause this way. Yeah, and then in the notes, I don't really need to go through the notes. Hopefully it's similar to what I was talking about. One thing I will say from my notes is dips went well. And yeah, hopefully it was intense. And really just the main thing is hopefully whatever muscle thing's going on in the pelvis sorts itself out. That would be ideal. But anyway, I'm going to end it there. Have a good day. God bless.